Hi, this is Mary from Joanne, here to show you a couple tips and tricks for making your own face mask. If you're having trouble finding narrow elastic, you can trim down wider knit elastic, cutting in between the channels of the elastic strands to make the elastic the width that you need. You can also swap elastic loops for fabric ties by inserting 4 18-inch ties at each corner of your mask. You can make your own ties out of woven fabric by making bias tape or knit fabric simply by pulling into place. Or you can purchase ribbon, twill tape, or any narrow flat trim to work as ties. To make your own woven ties, first start by cutting fabric into strips that are 1.5 inches wide by at least 18 inches long. Next, fold in the edges of your fabric to meet in the middle and press into place. To speed the process up, I could use one of these bias tape makers, or I could rig my own. To make my own with pins, I'm going to take one pin and stick it through my ironing board cover, just taking a little bit of fabric. And then once that other end's up, I'm going to take my fabric and slide it underneath the end of my pin. Then take that pin and insert it on the other side of my folded fabric. And then I'm going to repeat the same thing with a second pin about 1 inch over. Okay, now that everything's set, I can take my iron, put it into place, and then slide my fabric through, and my pins will fold that fabric just the way that I want it. Super fast and easy. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and fold my fabric one more time into place. And then once that's folded, I'm going to stitch here along the edge of my fabric, then turn once and twice and tack into place to finish the end of my tie. When my tie is finished, it should look something like this. To make ties out of knit fabric, start with fabric that's cut into strips 1.5 inches wide, then give it a pull, and the fabric will roll up into nice ties that can then be cut down into 18-inch pieces. If the elastic on your face mask is causing your ears discomfort, you can stitch buttons onto a knit headband just inside the halfway mark, and then use those buttons as a place for your elastic to loop around. To make a nose piece for your mask, start with 2 pieces of wire or chenille stem cut to 4 inches. Then fold in each end so that the wire doesn't poke through the fabric. Once your wires are folded, tape together the 2 wires using a narrow piece of duct tape. To insert my wire into my pleated style mask, I'm going to start at the point where I've sewn my sides together and turned my mask right side out, but before I've closed this opening or done any top stitching. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch a small pocket at the center top of my mask that is large enough for my wire piece to fit in. For this style mask, I'm going to do the same thing. So I've gone ahead and sewn my sides together, but I've left my opening open, and I'm going to go ahead and stitch that little pocket at the center top that's wide enough to fit my piece of wire through here. Okay, so now both pockets are sewn on my mask, and so now it's time to go ahead and insert my wire. Now that both wires are in, I can go ahead and stitch across here to seal my pocket and then finish sewing my mask. Finally, if you're looking to sew scrubs, you'll find that Simplicity 5443 and McCall's 5895 are great options.